Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you've never been here before, hi, my name is Kathryn. I'm so glad you have stopped in. Today's video I am talking about my plants and just kind of what I do to keep them looking nice. It's actually the first time that I have done anything to them for a while, really since I put a lot of them in their containers now. So obviously was a bit overdue for a bit of a clean up, freshen up for the plants. We're about to go into fall. This is a good time to kind of prep your plants indoors, also outdoors. Not exactly the best time to be planting a ton of stuff just because of how hot it is still. But anyways, as far as our container plants for the indoors, I have 4 that I'm going to show you, and just a few tips and things that I do. I by no means am a master gardener. I actually didn't even go to school to study gardening, but I've just found gardening, planting, working out in the yard to be super duper interesting, really fun, and extremely therapeutic. So if you don't mind getting your hands dirty, then that is a great hobby to get into. You really reap what you sow, like in putting these pretty plants in pots. Like, I get to enjoy them basically year round, and that'll be something that I'll talk about later. I haven't had any problems with these plants. They've all been pretty hardy and also pretty hard to kill, so that is awesome. But as far as my plants are so beneficial for indoors. They help clean the air, filter bad things out of the air. They're pretty to look at, and even on really dark, gloomy days, to have something live and thriving in your room, in your space, your home, whatever, office, it's just incredibly nice. So yeah, some of these plants I have been given, some of them I have gotten from other people, and let's see, I guess I can go ahead and go into that. So before we start working on the plants, I'm going to just show you them briefly and kind of give you a little bit of their backstory. Alright, so starting off, we have this beautiful peace lily. So it's crazy what plants can mean, but he came to me from my boyfriend and his family when my dad passed away, and so this peace lily, like, I've had him for probably 2 years, and he wasn't gifted, like, I wish it could have been gifted for like a graduation or something positive, but I'm proud of the plant. I'm thankful for him because it's just kind of like there's that connection, there's that memory back, so that way, not that I would ever forget, but I don't know, it's just kind of like a little reminder as to like why I have that plant. And it's, I guess in some ways, it's kind of that connection to my dad. But anyway, so there is my peace lily. That's how I got him. He was, like I said, from my boyfriend and his family. Then here I have my little aloe vera plant. Now, this plant was not given to me. I actually sought him out. My nanny, my grandmother, who is no longer with us either, unfortunately, she had a humongous aloe vera plant. We actually still have him downstairs. He is thriving and large, and I've taken a little piece and I've planted him and added some pretty little jewels or stones. Here I'm not entirely sure what this little guy is. He's actually super duper pretty. He has a variegated leaf on him, and I've had him for several years. I believe there's a picture. If I haven't already said this, I probably have, or probably will. I have a picture of him on my Facebook because he was in my first like big deal terrarium, but he got too large, so I had to take him out. And the reason he is so brown now, I had the big idea that it'd be great to take him outside. And unfortunately, he was too used to being in here in the cool. The heat just kind of like stroked him out. So he almost didn't make it, but I realized that those were not the best conditions for him. So I have brought him back inside, and he's actually perked up a lot, and he's already grown out a lot because I had to cut him back pretty far. So now, the last one we have. And I will write what he is down in the description box. But I know people call them prayer plants. Anyways, at night they'll close up. During the day they open up. It's kind of like folding like prayer hands. But anyways, I just bought this plant for myself. At the time he really went along with my room. And he's still cool. It's just really pretty. Like the purple is on the underleaf and then the green on the top. And there's also like that two-tone on the top of the leaf. And sorry, they're still really dusty. I need to dust them. But anyways, so that's what he looks like. So there are my babies. Love my plants. But you will learn more about them in just a minute and how I take care of them. Okay, so starting off, we are going to work with my big guy, which he is right here. So this is my peace lily. I'll give you some more story on him, but the first thing that I'm going to do is to take my handy dandy scissors and get to work on some of the dead areas of the plant. So just some twigs that have kind of like died back. So here, for example, is a piece, and I've got 2 garbage sacks down on the ground. I don't know if you can see them, one here and one here. So one is going to be for garbage like this that's out of the plant. And sometimes you don't even have to cut them. Sometimes they'll just completely like pull apart. But so one's going to be for garbage and for trash soil. So just getting all the dead out of this peace lily. Yeah, see, like I didn't have to cut him. He just like pulled apart. But you want to be careful when you're pulling not to damage the plant. Because sometimes if he is overwatered, like the entire root system will just kind of like want to rot. And if you are able to save your plant, like you need to try to let it dry out as much as possible so that way it won't do that. And if you are pulling, I would probably just wait. So now I'm looking, so that's like, this is like the bulk of like the really dead stuff. Now I'm looking for kind of dead stuff on the leaves, and I'm going to trim it just a bit. So, for example, there is this leaf right here. I don't know if you can see it. So, everybody's in the way. Alright, so this little guy right here. So I'm just going to trim him off. And I try to cut like in a V shape, if you can see that at all. But try to give it a V. I think it just makes it look nicer on the plant. So now we are ready for the really dirty part. And that is getting the plant up out of the pot. Now I'm going to stick my good plant in the garbage bag that has no trash in it. This would be really good if you had a spade. I do not have one with me at the moment, so I'm just going to use my hands, which is fine. Prepare to get a little bit of dirt, you know, under your nail beds. But anyway, so I'm just going to go and start digging with my hands. You want to be really careful with this part, not to tear the roots up too bad. But other than that, this is pretty simple. So here we go. And I'm just trying to go down the sides to get the roots up so that way I don't rip the plant apart. With these kinds of plants, if you're familiar with hostas or anything like that, their root system, they tend to sprout out little plants on the sides. So, whew, thought it was a spider. Another thing, be careful with some of your dirt because there can be little boogers down in there, and don't nobody want to dig up on the spider. So, yeah, back to it. My mom had a plant downstairs. It was I don't even know what he is, but he had a good size spider in him, so just be aware. Alright, so here's my plant. Now I'm moving in. This is in my good garbage bag, my clean garbage bag. And now we are left with just junk soil, which I'm about to dump out into my trash bag now. So now that I've got a majority of the dirt out of the pot, just for you guys to know, if you've never planted any kind of plant before, this particular planter has a little hole at the bottom, at the base of the pot, and that is great for drainage, obviously. So what you want to do, make sure you have, is just like, I've got a little plastic saucer. This is what he looks like. He's just here to catch the water. I mean, I have carpet, so I definitely don't want water on my floor. That would be really bad. The only way I'd say that you wouldn't want maybe a saucer under your pot is if he's an outdoor plant and you have the ability to let the water drain out. Other than that, any kind of indoor plants, you definitely want one. They're incredibly cheap, like 97 cents wherever. They may be a little bit harder to find come fall and winter, but like spring and summer, not a problem at all. Alright, so now on to the potting mix. Stuff is heavy sitting down. It's a lot lighter weight when you're up and going. But yeah, my potting mix today, I'm using the Expert Gardener potting mix. This is just what they had at Walmart. This was pretty cheap. I think it was like $5 for the bag, which is super awesome. What you want to check is just make sure that it says something about indoor container plants. I'm not really specific on the formula of the potting soil. I feel like something has to do with the nitrogen, and there's some other components in the soil, but you just want to make sure that you've got the right type of potting soil for your plant. Yeah, I guess that's it. Miracle Grow, that's another really good brand, like great brand. I'm not really familiar with Expert Gardener, but he was cheaper, so I went with him. And then, is it Scott's? It's another brand. I think they had some over at Walmart. So there's several options, but just you're gonna get your money's worth. If you pay $1 for potting soil, you're gonna get $1 worth of potting soil. So this just has a little bit of extra stuff. Feeds up to 4 months. This just has a little bit of nutrients and stuff mixed in with the soil, and that's always something really good, especially when they're inside and they don't have that kind of resources to always get what they need in the soil. So I'm going to cut him open now. And I'm going to pour a little bit into the bag, or the pot. I'm narrating this. You guys aren't dummies. See if you can see. Alright, so my first plant is done. Here he is. When I get through, I may actually dust him because he is collecting a little bit of dust, but you can see. Just wanted to change the soil out. That's, like I said, super important to like the plant's ability to thrive and look nice and healthy. So, one done. Alright guys, now for plant number 2. Not really positive what his name is specifically. He is a praying plant, so like at night you can tell like he comes and he closes up, he's praying. Then during the daytime, and I don't know if they've got some sort of like light sensory whatever, but he'll open back up. So it's pretty cool, and his colors are super pretty. That's why I actually picked this plant. Now my peace lily that you saw just a second ago was given to me. But anyways, this guy, he's not terribly, he only has a few little pieces that I'm going to pick out real fast and chunk. And then that's pretty good. So I'm going to pull them up. And like I said, exactly with the peace lily, you just need to be real careful when you're pulling up. Watch for little boogers hiding out in the soil. Hopefully there won't be one here. But yeah, if you could see the soil in this guy, like he definitely needed some changing. And when you're digging, make sure like be really careful with the roots. If I haven't already said this, the more roots you're able to like keep together and pull up, like just the better for the plant. If you chop the roots off, you just run the risk of really damaging the plant and possibly, oh gosh, okay, he's not too hardy on his roots. So this is him. I don't know, he had like some deeper roots, but anyways, this is what I got up. He's going in my little bag. Alright, so he is now empty. Again, this pot is similar to the blue one that I showed you earlier, except he's kind of more green. And he was probably like $20 or $25, which when I was buying the pots, I didn't mind spending a little bit of money because you can't find good pots anywhere, and these were really pretty. So anyways, going back in with potting soil. Alright, now we're taking our little prayer plant and sticking him back in there, just like we did the peace lily. Just want to get him in there really nice. You don't want to compact the soil too much because loose soil is better for drainage and also for the roots to be able to like get in and you know, grow around in the soil. So still gonna add more soil. And I had really good intentions with these garbage bags, trying to catch some of this dirt, but it looks like I'm gonna have a little bit on my carpet. No big deal, because I can still vacuum it up with a vacuum cleaner. Alright, don't mind the dirt on my floor, but plant number 2 is now finished. There he is in his glory. Alright, on to plant number 3. You can see the soil, if you can. It's total crap, so it's time to change it and get some good stuff in. Now this little guy looks really bad, and I'm trying to save him. He was really pretty and he had a really like nice leafy top, but I stuck him outside, and you just need to be careful with what you stick outside. I really thought he would have done really well, but I guess being in like cooler temperatures, like it ranges somewhere in like low to mid 70s in my house, so sometimes it's too much of a shock on their system and they just can't handle it, and he clearly could not handle it. So anyways, he's still alive, so hopefully he'll come back out and be beautiful again. So just filling my little container back up with potting soil. And I'm making a total mess. If you could see the dirt that's all over my leg right now. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. I don't mind dirt. God made dirt. Dirt don't hurt. Now we're taking our little friend, as dry as he is, and you know what? Putting him in a richer, more nutrient-dense soil may actually help him out a lot. So who knows, like in a couple of weeks, he may be looking real good. If he is, I'll make sure to point him out to you guys. Yeah, so I just stuck him in there. Tried to push his roots down just a little bit so they can get reacclimated to the soil. And now I'm going to just top him off. and we want them going upright. So just try to make sure that when you get them back in there, so don't pack it down, but just make sure it's enough that's going to hold them up, because you don't want them like getting established and going sideways. Unless you do, but that may put a little bit more like tension or, I don't know, pressure on the plant to grow that way. So yeah, friend number 3 is good to go. Something that I think is really cool. Here I have an aloe vera plant, and I actually took him off the mother plant. This was my nanny's aloe vera plant, and it's still growing and thriving, and it's just awesome. And so I'm going to take him and repot him into the red star. But as far as the plant goes, you know, I think it's, if you're interested in having plants in your room, it's just so much more special when it's from somebody that you loved. And if you can find a plant like that, then by all means, you should go get that plant. Now sometimes they're not always going to be potted. I've heard a lot of people say like their mother or their grandmother would have really pretty roses, and maybe they went and they dug that rose bush up, or maybe part of that rose, and they went and they put it in their yard. I've also heard that with like hydrangeas. Those are, if you're not familiar with hydrangeas, those are the big pretty snowballs. They're in white or blue or pink. So stuff like that. As far as like potted plants, like I know you can do that easily with aloe vera plants. The peace lilies, like you could totally take a piece of maybe your grandmother's peace lily, saying your grandmother or mom, but your dad or your granddad or aunt or uncle could totally have them too. So here is my aloe vera plant. He's definitely to the side, but that's just kind of because how his roots are. It's hard to get them, like they just do their own thing. Aloe vera plants are incredibly sassy, so don't fret over positioning on them. Now, something that, well, before I say that, when you have plants like this, I don't have to worry about it with the first 2 plants that I showed you. They have saucers for the water to drain out. Now this guy right here, I never ever put that much water on him. Like I seriously wait till the soil starts to look dry before I add water, because they don't have good sources to drain the water out, and you don't want to waterlog them because they'll rot, and that's never a good thing. They stink and they die, and it's just a bad thing. So with this one specifically, because of how tiny he is, you want to make sure that you do not overwater him. Like I seriously will probably not water this guy. Well, I will. Okay, and that's another thing. So many things to keep in mind. I will pour water on all of these initially because the soil is so dry right now. It's got a little bit of moisture, but not enough. And to get your plant started, they need to have enough moisture in their little containers. So I will wet him, but after that, like, you need to check. I can see here, but in a pot that you cannot see, you can stick your finger down in there, because sometimes there will be pockets of water that you were just completely oblivious to, and that's, you need to know. So anyways, here we have this little guy. Something that I want to add to him just to give him that extra little bit are some stones. So these little rocks are stones. Don't mind my hairs, they were on my carpet. We actually had gotten these from Texas. There was some kind of little touristy cavern thing, and me and my brothers were there with my parents, and we got to dig these up, and I'd had them in a little pouch for the longest time, and I thought what better way to use them than to put them in some of my plants. The plants came later, so I just happened to have them. So I'm going to use them on my little aloe vera plant today. This will just kind of help appropriately pack the soil, and not so it'll harm the roots, but just like so the top won't. Sometimes when you pour water in your plants, like the soil will float, and you don't want that. So I'm just going to start putting them in here like so. And this is just fun. Like, this is, like I said, just a little something extra. And I just think they look really pretty. And I guess I'll put all of them in there because the rest of my containers, the tops of the plants are large enough to where you really can't see them. And he'll get lost in the other little pot. So, sometimes if you have your plants long enough, and hopefully you will, your rocks will eventually kind of go down to the bottom of the soil. So when you, I probably need to check all that soil that I just threw away, but sometimes they'll sink down. So when you get ready to change your soil out, just make sure that you check and that you're not throwing your pretty little stones away. So here is our fourth and final little friend. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're new, thank you for checking out my channel. Feel free to give this video a thumbs up if you like this kind of video so that I can know to do more, maybe not just on plants. I am a girl with a wide range of interests, so I would love to share some more stuff with you guys. Feel free to subscribe also. It is free, and yeah, I guess that's going to be it. Thanks again, and I will talk to you guys in the very near future. Bye guys.